What's up, everybody? My name is Galston Anthony, the best to ever do it, and I'm still in Kenya. Yes, I'm in East Africa, and I'm in a store called Zeal Sense. They're the ones hosting us for this podcast for today. Now, let's go back to my name, right? Now that I'm in Kenya, I got a name while I'm here. How did I say my own name? Matubia. Matua. Now, who's Matubia? Where did I get? Call you with my name. Right, so that is my name while I'm here, part of a Kumba tribe. Now, apparently, Kumbas are known for salacious things and witchcraft. But they got beautiful women, apparently. Right, so please tell me all the positive things because nobody's told me the positive things yet. So, while I'm in Kenya, the context of Kenya is really important. In studio today, I got a star, maybe a superstar. She's got a show on Showmax. She's been an actress for a while, and she's a mommy of 2. I think I already gave you a clue who this might be. Now, for the love of goodness, I hope I don't butcher her last name because I don't want to do this. Her name is Jackie Matubia.
Yeah, you got it. That's all. You got it. Hi, guys.
Now, thank you for coming to the show.
Thank you for having me.
It is a pleasure. So, G2G is the hard talk. Are you ready for this?
Yeah, I'm ready.
You ready? You sure?
I'm ready. I was born ready.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just to give context, it's about accountability. It's about understanding certain things. Yes, the scrutiny doesn't just come with criticism. It's there to grow. So we're ready to...
Yeah, we're ready. Let's do this.
Let's start on a soft note. We met in a very interesting circumstance. You want to go through how we met?
We met actually on my stepdad's burial. And we said hi like twice.
Yeah, did we?
Everyone was like, come say. I was like, hi. The first time we said hi. And then the second time, I don't know who said, come say hi. I was like, okay, hi. It was like,
we said hi twice?
We said hi twice.
I only remember once.
We said hi twice.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, oh, okay, so and then you want to continue what you did?
Now I got to talk about the rest. Okay, so what happened is that we had the funeral and then we left to another venue where we have what we call after tears, right? What do they call it in?
Do we have a name for it?
Yeah, there is. So Sam came and give me the name. There's a name for, Post Mortem.
Oh. Oh my God.
So went to the Post Mortem and we had a couple of drinks and I only know Sam K at the moment there. I don't know anybody else, and I'm getting introduced. So I'm unaware there's a lot of stars amongst y'all, including yourself. I was unaware. I was oblivious, And here I am, and there's a moment where they just wanted to like pay respects to your dad. They said your dad's name, so I'm faded, and I'm like, yo, where is it? Everybody looking at me, mad at me. I'm like, what did I do? I'm like, oh, that's the dad. I'm like,
oh my God.
It was embarrassing. I was so embarrassed at that moment.
It's fine.
I'm
fine.
so sorry for that.
No. It's allowed. We were all faded, I think, at that point.
Yeah.
We were all gone. But anyway, it's fine. It's okay. This is the man who raised me, having a dad to step up in your life. It was something really that actually got me, I would say, by surprise, because he was a man of faith. He believed that cancer is not a death sentence. And even his last day, which was on Sunday, I was with him and, kept on saying, no, I'm strong. That's why when I walked in the room, the hospital room, he wanted to try and get up and he can't even move. So he was a man of really great faith. And what consoles us as a family is we are grateful and we are happy, and what makes us not mourn him too much is the fact that we know he's in a better place. He's in a place where he's with who he loved the most, which is he's been a man of faith. He loved God till his last breath, and he believed in God. And actually, we don't say we buried him. We say he went to where he actually was belonged. And a week before he died, he had just been ordained to be a pastor. That has always been his prayer. So he has been an elder for a long time. So he's an elder, and he was a pastor, but not an ordained pastor. And so he really wanted to be ordained. And it was like all written in the skies because exactly a week later,
damn,
he dies. Yeah.
Damn, that was heavy.
Yeah.
And I want us to go through that because he's a man that stepped up and raised you. Give me an idea. When did he start raising you? What age?
So my dad, Pastor Mwangi, started raising me at the age of 30. When I was at the age of 5, when I was 5, that was 30 years ago.
Oh, I just love you
the-
guys' accents. Tati.
Yeah,
30 years ago. It's like the way y'all say Tati. We say the boys like 30s. Like, nah,
No,
Tati.
30 years ago. So that's when they got married with my mom. They did a very big wedding. That was the first time I ever saw a wedding. And it was really big. And I would not lie to you, for 30 years, he never raised his hand. He never shouted at me. He never disciplined me. My mom is the one who used to discipline me all the time.
Somebody had to do it.
Yeah, someone had to do it, but he never did it. And for him, it was more of, talking. In every crazy idea, every crazy decision I wanted to do, I would call him and tell him that. So I'm thinking of this, and he would like, I will support you. If it fails, he will still be there to support me. So I would say I've lost a very big cheerleader in my life. My daughters have lost a father figure in their lives because my dad really stepped up again to my children, to my daughters, and became the father that they never had. And yeah, we've lost, but we are in celebration because he came, he did his work here on earth, and he finished his, and he's in a better place. Yeah.
He's a better place. May he rest in peace.
May
May
he
he rest in
rest in
peace.
peace. Yeah.
Okay. So, who is the one that raised you in UK or took you to UK? Was your stepfather? Or
So that was my biological dad. So my biological dad and my mom, they got me when my mom was in high school. She was in, here we say Form 4, like the last year after, just before you clear high school. And my dad was a Form 2 dropout. Yeah. Yeah. So their love was complicated because now it's different families, different lives. And so I was born, and it was just, my mom was too young to understand. She wasn't ready to have a child. And so I stayed in the hospital for 3 months with no one claiming me.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Okay, let's just run that back because I've never heard this one before. You're born.
I'm born, so my
Mom says peace out.
She's like, I don't think I'm ready for
and
this.
she leaves.
And she leaves.
And then the hospital's like, well, we'll keep this baby.
Yeah, we'll keep. So I only had my name, which was Nyambura. And so my middle name. So when my aunties came to visit, Nyambura, yeah.
Okay, so where does Jackie come in?
So Jackie is the name my mom and my dad gave it to me. When they were young and I was growing in mommy's tummy, they were in love. And so they were reggae fans. They were huge reggae fans. And so there's this Bob Marley song saying, Jacqueline. So that's why in their crazy young mind, they decided to name me after that song. So in our culture, you're supposed to be named after your father's mom. So my father's mom is called Nyambura.
Nyambura.
Yes.
I like that name.
Yeah, it's Nyambura. Yeah, it's a name given to very beautiful Kikuyu women.
Okay, so it's Kikuyu. Okay.
Yeah, so it's Kikuyu. So when my aunties came to visit me, they decided to pick me up. And so for a very short while, I stayed with my dad until I got this mark. I don't know, it's on my left or my right.
It's on that side.
It's on this side, yeah. So when I got this accident, that's when my mom was like, oh my God, no, I have to. So my mom picked me up from hospital and we started staying with my mom.
You had this for 3 months and it's been there since?
Yes.
That is interesting.
It's been there.
I actually thought it was a cultural thing.
No.
Okay.
Yeah. So my dad had a nanny and she was ironing. And so I took the iron. So back in the day, the iron boxes were like, we used to use charcoal. So they were, because I used to play with it. I'm wondering, 1 minute it's hot, 1 minute it's cold. So and then I just placed it on my face. Yeah. So.
Out. Yeah.
So I was in the hospital in and out, and now my dad had already applied to go to the UK. And so he traveled to the UK, and that's where now I started living with my mom. And then shortly after, my dad got me, and I had to live with my dad in the UK. It was bittersweet because at first, I was too young for my mom to tell and just tell me, this is your dad. She was like,
let me introduce you to someone else.
Yeah, so I thought I'm going to see my uncle. So when my dad came pick me up in the airport, I'm like, Uncle, you're here. My dad is like, no, I'm not your uncle. It took me like a week before I got used to the fact that, how do I have two dads? I thought that was so it was really quite complicated. But I stayed with my dad, and then, of course, my mom went to court, and a child in the Kenyan law is is the moms until they're 18, until they decide. So that's when I came back. And when I came back, it was a whole culture because it was crazy. My parents used to live in slums, in a slum in Kawangware. It's called Kawangware.
And what is that around Nairobi?
Yeah, it's around Nairobi. So we used to live in a one-room house. So I'm from London. I'm like, what the ghetto is this? You know?
What in the ghetto is this?
What in the ghetto is this? And so, but you know, it was because now you see my biological dad is the one paying for me my school fees. So I'm going to the high-end schools, but at home, I'm in the ghetto. So it was a very, I would say I was a very weird child. I know people who have been the same primary school. I know they look at me and wonder, isn't you the same girl? Because I was a weird girl. There's a time in class 6, I had my own class.
Hold on. What do you mean your own class?
I
Where were the other 29 students?
I could not be able to live with them. So the teachers were like, you know what, let's just get her own class. So I had a whole class by myself. My desk, so the teacher used to leave, maths teacher used to leave to teaching this other class. She comes to our class and my class and she teaches me.
Hold up. Why did you have your own class? Like,
because I was a weird child.
What do you mean weird?
I used to cut people's hair. Like there's a girl
like in the middle of school.
Yeah, in the middle of a class. I'll just get up and just take scissors and cut it.
I think that's more than weird.
Yeah.
That's a little bit more than weird.
Yeah, so there's these things we used to eat. They used to be called mabuyu.
Mabuyu, what's that?
How would I explain it? I don't know how to explain mabuyu. So it's a seed, but it's coated with sugar flavor. So it's so yummy. You just put it and it dissolves, and then you remain with the seed. So when you remain with the seed, when you like rub the seed back and forth on the floor, it becomes hot. So I used to burn other kids. I used to scratch. I was just a weird child. I was just trying to fit
That's also not weird. That's a little more than weird.
I would say now that I know all this mental
right
and all these things that go through children, I just say I wanted to fit in, but I didn't know how to fit in, you know. So I thought maybe probably doing bad will make me. I think I was trying to. It a cry for help.
There's a self-consoling by hurting others because internally you hurt. And it does make sense. Coming from London, then you go into the slum.
The slum.
What in the slum is this?
Yeah.
I don't remember the name of the place. Yeah. The contrast was a lot for you. You know, you had to handle that. That makes complete sense. And then you found yourself in the arts and crafts. That's when you started.
So actually in primary, I was so good at sports. I was winning in swimming, in running and all this. So when I got to high school, my mom was like, no. She needs to go to a very normal, like, you know, easy high school. And that's when I joined our high school, which is Catherine Girls. And this Catherine Girls was a high school which was, you know, we were all equal. It doesn't matter if you're from Nairobi, from where, you're all equal. So no carrying of snacks, nothing. No money. We called it a prison back in the day because it was a whole prison. But it was fun because there is where now I started discovering myself. And now I'm not trying to get that cry for help because we are all equal. I can see we are all equal. I do not have to prove myself that I'm okay or I'm from this type of world.
Right. So they just like even out the scales.
Yeah, so they even out. So that's
should have more schools like that, you know?
You know? Yeah. So, but way better, like a little bit better.
A little bit better, just less prison-like.
Less. But it was fun because I met my friends who we're now friends till date. Who it was fun learning where they were from, you know, all these things, and that's when now my love for drama. I remember one day I just went to when I was just in Form 1, I went to the hall and they were practicing and I was sitting at the far end of the hall and I'm just looking, I'm like, wow, this is amazing. I feel like I belong here. And I joined drama. So the good thing is the drama teacher was also our class teacher and our Kiswahili teacher. And so he asked me, do you want to be part of it? I'm like, yeah. And it was also another crazy experience because never in the school history has ever a Form 1 joined drama when they're in Form 1. So, of course, the Form 4 tried to fight me, give me punishment here and there. But I was strong. I survived. So that's why I got my love for drama. And I I was excelling in it. I loved it. I felt home. I felt hard. I felt seen, because I feel like in primary, I was trying to be seen. I was trying to be
Right. I'm
hard.
actually
Yeah.
connecting that together.
Yeah.
It's like you're trying to be seen. You've been cutting people's hair
Yeah.
off and burning little kids by rubbing little,
Yeah.
what was that little seed that you call? And now at least you can be controlled in the sense that now people see you and appreciate you, right? And this is where the celebrity later is born.
Yes.
Okay.
So in high school, there's a girl who came towards me and she told me, "You're Jackie Celeb," and I'm like, okay. And no, so now that name spread throughout the high school, and the schools used to come, and they was like, "Oh yeah, Jackie Celeb, yeah, Jackie Celeb." So that name really stuck, but it really didn't stick to me, like the fact that it will actually open doors for me even after high school. Yeah. So then just before I was sitting for our last year exam, there's a team from that was the biggest show in town at the moment. It's called Tahiti High. So the actors came to our school.
Tahiti High.
Yeah, so they came to our school, and so everyone is asking. So it was just a very simple, who's going to pray? And people are like, Jackie Celeb. The entire school went, Jackie Celeb. But I'm like, okay. And so I prayed and I performed. And so after that, the teacher gave me, the one who was acting as a teacher then, she gave me her number. She's like, wait, once you're done, please call me. I'm like, cool. So of course, in the midst of, it's just a small paper, in the midst of trying exams and it gets lost. So I've cleared high school, week 1 at home. And so we used to have this, what is it called? There's a competition in one of the top Kenya's radio stations where you call in and sing like a small chorus, and then you will win 1,000 Kenyan shillings back then. That was in 2009.
And what's 1,000 Kenyan shillings?
1,000 Kenyan shillings, it's like is it $130? Yeah,
$130.
Yes.
I mean, why wasn't I there?
It was a lot of money back in the day. It was a lot of money. So I called in. I do not have one of the best voices, but because of the training of high school and doing drama festival, so I sang the song and I won. So when one of the teacher, actually the one who's acting as a teacher who gave me her number, had me. And so she called the station and she got my number. And now she's like, oh my God, come for the auditions. So I went now to Tahiti High for the auditions. And when the producer saw me, she's like, no need.
Like, they just passed you through.
They're like, just go buy uniform and we'll call you and tell you when to come to work. And that's how my acting career started. And I got to Tahiti. Tahiti was the biggest show in town. And it also took me like a whole year before I was given a character.
Right.
Because there were bigger stars in front of us. So you wait for
so
them
you
to
had
clear. And then now
to...
you step in. And once I got there is when I was given the name Jolene. So Jolene was my character, and I played it through for what I think almost 5, 6 years, and then I dropped out because I got pregnant. Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about the pregnancy part, right? Because now it's obviously a love story where you meet this man, you get married and all. How did y'all meet, and why did you fall in love with him?
So my best friend, who's in Jockey, you saw her the other day. Yeah, so she was married to just a mutual friend. And so my baby daddy at the moment, so my ex-husband at the moment saw me through the stories.
So wait, let's run it like this, right? Oh, because you only had one ex-husband. You didn't have two. The one was a baby daddy.
Yeah, the other one was a baby
ex-husband.
daddy. My ex-husband, yeah. So the one I was legally married to. Yeah, so my ex-husband saw me through his stories and he was like, oh, hook me up. But the guy was like, he was taking his sweet time. So what he did, he just like a normal, he slid into my DMs.
Slid in there.
DMs,
and
he's
my
like, oh my God.
Yeah.
But so I would say that's how our story began. But at that particular point, my best friend had just gotten a child. And I was so close to my godson. Like, I really wanted to have my own because I raised this godson and I really wanted to have my own. So I feel like, so when we got into this relationship, I had my own agenda of I want a kid. He had his own agenda and all, now that we are learning that we all have this baggage that we carry and we don't unbox them. And then we just pretend to just keep covering, like now, for example, my childhood, wanting to be seen, coming. So all this baggage, I have my baggage, you have your baggage, and we're both not sitting down and trying to,
But I want to ask you something, and this is a deep question. This is where it gets a little bit, we
Mm-hmm.
get into the G2G moments, right?
Yeah.
You and him separated. I believe you're the one that decided to walk away, right?
Yeah.
Now, leaving a marriage is never a good thing, right? Unless, of course, your life is in particular danger, then that's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
What is it that you felt you did that made the marriage not work out? Let's leave him out of the picture. Let's work only on Jackie.
For me, I feel like I failed in so many ways, starting by the fact that I did not listen. I reacted. I reacted to what my friends are telling me, to what, you're told. You can be advised, but you can decide to sieve the advice and see what to do and not what to do. And he used to, during the arguments also, as women, we tend to block what he says and try and force what you feel.
Right.
So we don't let men to be seen and heard. And I felt his cry for help was, please just be a wife. Just be my wife. Do this, do that. And in the midst of all this, you also have friends who are advising you. And instead of you to sieve the advice and know what kind of a person you're dealing with, you decide to take that. So for me, I feel like I was trying to make him be the man I saw in my life, my mom and my dad. I was trying to make him that. I was trying to,
and it's rather impossible. But let's revisit this part. So this is to each gender rather has what they have as a mistake, right? Now, particularly with women, what happens is that women love egging other women. You deserve better.
Yeah.
He shouldn't be in your life. You felt like they were doing that, right?
For me, it wasn't basically at that, because all of us, we were all young in our relationships. I feel like it's, no, your husband has money, he should get you this. No, he should not. No, he should not go out. He should stay home with you. And, you come with the same forces, like, by the way,
right?
You should stay at home,
Yeah.
So you try and, because this is a man who just from high school goes straight to South Africa to do flying school, then comes back. He has not lived his 20s.
Yeah, training to be a pilot took so much of his time.
Exactly. And now you're from that to being a dad, to being a husband, and all this, everything is new. But again, you're trying to live a little, and your wife is
in your ear
all the time.
You know what? I think it's actually beautiful that you're sitting here and actually seeing how you damaged the marriage, right? Because obviously he did some damage himself.
Yeah.
But we're not discussing him as he's not here to say his part. I really appreciate that about you. Now that you've gone to that place, do you have some sort of regrets? Do you wish you would have done that a little bit differently? Do you felt like he was actually someone worth holding on to? And I'm not suggesting go back.
Yeah.
I'm just, just...
Would I? It would have played both ways. Because also what was bugging me was mostly things that that really felt like, now later on, like, I realized, oh, this man didn't leave, and because I had already lived that kind of life, I feel like I want him also not to live it. But I don't think if also, probably it would, because we tried for 7 years. We tried 7 years, 7 good years, and now we are best of friends. We're really good friends. And I feel even him, he really needed to go through that. So a little bit of maturity. We both needed a little bit of maturity. And I think that's why at this particular point in our lives that we are friends, if we understood what is bugging us, like for me to be wanted to be seen, to be heard, and for him to lose a dad so early and become a firstborn, to, all these things, and he's dealing with all these things. 1 minute he's a young man trying to discover his dreams of being a pilot, then the next he's a father. He's the head of both homes.
So much.
So there's so much.
That's big of you.
Pressure.
That's really big of you to have, came to that point.
Yeah.
Now, although I can't say there's a pattern, but there's similarities with history and your life, where your dad disappears, and then there's a daughter that gets to be a stepdad. Now, the relationship between your first husband and your daughter is broken up, to that degree, or the family unit, and now you stepped out of that. How did your daughter feel?
Oh, at first, for my daughter, it was hard, because this is the thing with separation, and I always tell the ladies that, when you're going through separation, as women, we are very, very unfair to our kids. We always think it's about me. It's no, him. He's the one who's I need to stay away. But we never think about how it affects the children. And for me, the reason why, because we did a lot of I'm leaving, I leave, stay a few years or a month, I come back. It's because I thought I'm trying to not, because I used to sit by myself and I'm like, oh no, I don't want history to repeat itself. And then I'm like, yeah, history won't going to repeat itself. So I go back. But you see, all this is about me. I never pictured my daughter in that equation. I never sat down and thought, okay, how does it affect my child? How does my child feel? And all these things. And I would say it really, there's a time it really affected my child so badly, to a point every time she could see me on TV and I'm acting, it's a show and I'm crying, and she'll be like, "Mommy,
and you
it's
okay?
Daddy hurt you." Because when I'm with her, all I keep saying is, Dad is the problem. Dad is the problem. And then when I sat down and I realized, oh my God, I am actually going to bring up another me. Always out here looking for a dad figure. Yet I never appreciated the dad who brought me up, because according to society, the stepdad doesn't matter. The person who pays the bills, the person who brought you to this world is the one that matters. But because this man who raised me and was there to listen to me and was there to comfort me doesn't matter. So I'm like, I don't want my child to grow up and start looking for another father figure, and she will have her life all over again, trying
the
to
whole
look for
generational
Yeah,
curse.
and I will give it to the dad, because the dad was there. Let me tell you, I blocked him everywhere. He wrote me an email.
And do you know how much effort it is to write an email? Yeah.
And that's when I realized, oh my God, because as single moms, or rather women who walk out our relationship, we always think the guy is always after you. Honey, sit down and try. And sometimes the man is just after you for the child.
Yeah. It's not natural.
So when I realized I've blocked this man everywhere. And he still found a way to communicate to me. It's not me he's trying to communicate to. Because in his message, he was very clear. He's like, please unblock me. I need to talk to my child.
Please don't gatekeep my child.
So for us as women, when we are mad, we only see, oh my God, he even wrote an email. He's looking for me. He's always looking for me. But did you read the entire email? Did you see the message? He said he wants to talk to his child. And so one day I just sat down and I'm like, oh my God, yeah. What am I doing? Me and him are over. It's clear. He never even asked me, are you okay? Are you fine? He just asked about the child. And so why would I block this? A man who wants to look for his child will do anything to look for it, to get to his child.
You know what's surprising me about you? Firstly, we need to get your DNA, and we need to clone you, and we need to make a lot of you, right? Because what's really surprising me about you is that there's a self-awareness, which is very, very rare. And I understand I'm generalizing with this with women. And the thing is that the way you're speaking, it's more like, okay, you mapped out, you looked at the map of your history and you saw the wrongs that you've done. You accounted for them, tried to fix them, and try to, rebuild that situation. And you also notice that your daughter could be the same you. She's going to end up cutting people's hairs as well. And that scared you. Because what would happen in general terms is that women's like, yeah, well, it's not her fault, it's his fault, But you try to put that together. What was interesting is that you'd say to her that your dad is the reason why things are bad, and then go have a scene where you're crying on TV, and she thinks it's the same reason.
Thing, yeah.
So the trauma started really, really kicking in.
Yes.
Right. And that's lit up a bulb in your head. It's like, it's time for change. How did you get to that place of change? Because this is a rare thing.
When I got to the place of change is when one day I was called at school. So my daughter did not talk until she was 4 years.
Okay.
Yes. So in that, before she started speaking, we had already taken her to school. And when I was called to school and I was told, oh, your child is, as much as she cannot express herself, but she'll express herself by screaming, rolling over. And I looked at myself and I'm like, do I really want to bring up such a child? Because now I started seeing myself. You get what I'm saying? So my child becomes such a, the hatred she gets at home, she brings it to school, and now she can't even be able to express herself. And now I'm here thinking, okay, because now, you're going to hospital, you're being told all these things. Probably she's shutting down because of the things she's going through at home. Probably she's doing this because of the things you tell her about her dad. You never know. And I'm like, do I really want to bring up this? So I sat down with the dad and I'm like, you know what? Please, let's try and do this for her. And so the dad has always been forever team. My daughter is called Zari, so she's a forever Team Zari. Yeah, she's forever Team Zari. So that's when now we decided to take her for speech therapy. And I won't lie to you, she could see us because it was something we were committed to. Bring your calendar, I bring my calendar. Which day are you free? Which day? So it's something, and also Sundays, instead of him coming to pick her up, we used to go all of us together. I won't lie to you, it didn't even last 3 weeks. My daughter just started talking. She opened up. She was a happy child. She's just expressing herself. And we realized, oh my God.
It was
the
parenting that was not, been done well. And then that just opened up. It two parents that come together create a happy child.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter if they're poor, it really does create a happy child. I'm happy to hear that.
Yeah.
Then we fast forward a little bit and you decide to fall in love again.
Yes.
Right? You decide to find another man. How old is your daughter at that point?
So my daughter at that point, she is 6.
She's 6, right?
She's 6.
Okay, good. You start falling in love. And then rumor has it that you walked into a relationship that you were financing, right? Now, tell me that story, because I know those stories get really ugly, right? So tell me, you meet the guy, and look, we're not out here to shame anybody, right? You meet the guy and you decide, okay, I'm going to love this man, all right? I'm in a better position than him. Why did you get into that relationship? And what was your hope out of that?
I would say at that particular point is I was also trying to move now because now my ex-husband now left for us his house. And now, so I'm like, I think I'm now saved enough for me to be able to move to my own house and raise my children. So in between, we were in the same show. And I felt like it's a man who he used to listen to me because sometimes you come to work, I'm tired, I'm emotional and all these things. And he used to listen to me. And at that particular point, I thought he probably, as after seeing my mom get a second chance, getting married to the love of her life.
This was another trigger.
Yeah. So I was like, probably God has given me a second chance. And the deal breaker for us, or rather not the deal breaker, I don't know what to name it. I wasn't ready for my second child. I wasn't. For Zari, I knew I wanted this child.
Correct. You guys were married. It made sense.
I knew I wanted this child. For the second child, I really didn't. I wasn't sure if you'd have asked me at that particular point, where do you see yourself with this guy? I would tell you, the tunnel is so dark. I cannot see anything. I'm just leaving because for 7 years and 3 years of separation, I am finally free. To make my own decisions, to live in my own house without him popping in the house anytime he feels like, all these things. And now I'm feeling free and I just want to live, it's called, sorry to say, it's a whole face, like you want to live.
Don't say sorry to me.
I've been married for 7 years to one man. Now it's my time to explore.
Yeah. I mean, do you, girl?
So at that particular point is when now I felt, okay, this is a guy I haven't slept with, but listens to me. When you're enough whole face, you don't even want to say hi to that person. You finish what you came to do and you go. You know what it's like? Yeah.
You came for service and then out?
And then out.
Damn.
I don't have time to share.
Okay.
So at that particular point, I was like, oh my God. Anyway, so I want to believe probably at that particular point, he gave me his listening ear because he was interested in me. And so in between all this thing, I got pregnant. So the day, I didn't even know I was pregnant.
Well, hold on. This is the thing about between the time I got pregnant. Like, y'all don't know y'all can get pregnant. It's like, come on for a second. So you were playing a dangerous game through and through and hope that somebody does their part so that you don't get pregnant. So you played that dangerous game.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when you start giving someone a shoulder to lean on, they're listening to you. You start lowering your guard slowly by slowly. You're like, yeah, we can do without. Yeah,
You can, yeah.
yeah. So it got to that point, and so I didn't know actually I was pregnant. So one day we had this concert. We used to have this big concert every October, and so when I went to the stage to take content, I fell off the stage. So when I fell off the stage, I just got hard and I was like, you already faded. So I'm like, nah. So in the following morning, I could not get up. I'm like, oh my God, it's so painful. So when I went to hospital, it was during our COVID time. So when I went to hospital.
Was this like 2020, 2021?
2020, 2021, yeah.
Yeah. Well, look, it's forgivable because of COVID, there's the only thing you could do. Is get busy,
Just get busy. So I changed, I went and at this particular point, I'm just telling them, no, I'm feeling pain. Yeah, so when my tests comes out, the doctor comes with a big smile on the face, and I'm like, what's wrong with you? They're like, oh my God, congratulations, you're 8-week pregnant. I'm like, what?
8 weeks.
8 weeks?
Okay.
Nothing. And I'm like, oh my God, what do you mean? So she's like, yeah, you're 8 weeks pregnant, but anyway, it's a small swallow. You'll get here the medicine, but no, make sure now you're pregnant. I was confused for a whole week. I used to, the way you wake up and realize, oh my God, I was told I was pregnant. I started crying. I cried for a whole week. So when we were not living together at the moment, so when now I said no, came to him and I was like, you know what, I'm pregnant, but I want to get rid of this pregnancy because I am not in any. I just started being like fully independent.
I mean, you like on full throttle the whole phase right now.
So
it's like in a baby. What do
you mean?
Gotcha.
In a baby, I'm not really. I've never seen myself having another baby. I never thought of having another baby. I never thought for me, I was just living in the moment. And so he started telling me, no, I really want to keep this child, and all this,
Oh, so he did a lot of the convincing for that.
He did a lot of convincing for that. And I remember I called my mom.
But hang on. So he was doing a lot of the convincing. Man, that time you understood his financial situation was pretty bad.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So
you must have really had a slick tongue.
He did.
He did. Okay.
He did. So at that particular point, I just called my mom. My mom told me, you know what? God will always provide. Just have this child. You never know what kind of blessing this child is going to bring. And I started now getting to, wanting to have this child. And so we saw, okay, now our finances are not doing well. So let's move in together. So that's when we moved in together. So he came to my house. He moved into my house. And so I told him, okay, now you can take the rent. I will take care of these other things as we try to. You have a nice brand. I'll try and help you out in creating your brand, bring you out there. As a couple, we'll try and figure it out. Because, in my heart, I felt that, we don't stay in the same place forever. We grow, and especially if I know the ropes to social media and he's new, I will teach him and we will grow together. So that was the plan. So later in my pregnancy is when now I started seeing a lot of red flags. Now you're living with someone and now it's easier for someone to lie to you when you're not living together. But now when you're living together is okay. You got this show. This show is a big show. And what do you mean you guys haven't been paid? So the lies started checking in. And I got to a place and I was like, no, I can't take this. It's too much for me. And I just started focusing on myself. Yeah, focusing on my brand. And I was like, you know what? If I never saw myself.
How old is the child at that time?
So Zari now she's turned 7. I'm
talking about the baby.
The baby. No, I'm a few weeks to.
Oh, you're still pregnant.
Yeah, I'm still pregnant. So, I would say my daughter was really a blessing because I worked till the last day, which was the 2nd of June, where I started laboring, and I was actually in an event, And when I was laboring, I decided not to go home. And I was like, no, let me sleep through the night. And then tomorrow in the morning, I'll wake up. But the pain
And the
really...
baby had other plans.
The baby had other plans. She's like, no, mama, I'm
It's
coming. And
time.
so I always joke around this and say, the day, when God plans some things, they're usually well planned, because when I had my baby, he was there, but he was not in the room at that particular point when the baby came, because I fell asleep, completely asleep. And then I just woke up with so much pain. He had just gone to pick my friends at the parking. And I had this baby by myself in this room, no nurses, no nothing. It's okay.
Yeah, we're calling the nurse.
Yeah, the nurse. So I had my child, and they just held my child like this and now called the nurses. And I think for me, that was an eye-opening.
But I'm trying to understand, why was he at the hospital, but he was not there when the child was born? Like, what happened that he decided that he would be out?
And that's why I say some things really God are, because he was there throughout my labor when I was in the hospital. But that's this particular point when the child is coming. God made sure I had this child by myself. Alone.
Why do you say God made sure is that? Like, clarify that for me.
Because the thing is, when the nurse checked how dilated I was, according to her, I was 4 centimeters. But apparently I was 8 centimeters. So they were like, this one is going to give birth probably at around 3 a.m. So let her sleep. Because now it was around 10:30 p.m. He just got up to pick. He was there, the bed, and then there's a seat. So he was there, but he just got up to go pick my friends. So when I say God made sure, because I was not even in the delivery room. I was just in my normal ward room, just getting ready to dilate until around 8 centimeters, then being taken to the delivery room. But my child came when I was just by myself. And I would say that was just an eye-opener. And I was like, yeah, I'm actually going to do this by myself. And that's when I made the decision of actually going to do this by myself.
And doing everything by yourself. I don't know if it's God, to be honest. Just put it that way. But I understand your perspective, because you done checked out while being pregnant and you was like, you know what, I'm going to do this mothering thing by myself. But then word has it that he's a deadbeat. Now, please break it down to me. How is he a deadbeat, and why do you think he's a deadbeat? Is it down to him having no or little finances, or he's just like, look, I'm not interested in taking care of the baby, even though I convinced you to bring the baby in?
So for me, I always tell people, I have done this before. I have co-parented with a man before. And that's why I gave you guys the story of the email, so that when I come to this point, I'll tell you, when a man is interested in the child, they will go through everything and anything. I always say, if he wanted to know where I live, it's very easy. He still has friends who are still my friends. And if he really wanted to be in the child's life, he would be. So when I gave birth to my child, now I go home and, it was just a weird thing, because I'm just from taking a shower. I've just given birth to a child. I'm taking a shower. When I'm coming to dress, he's like, oh, baby, the gas is done. The nanny needs money for the gas. And I'm like, I just gave birth. And, so such things are irritating me. I started getting irritated. Normally, before the child, I was like, oh, it's okay. He will get his finances. But now it's irritating me.
It's irritating. Okay.
It's irritating, because I'm like, can't you see I'm just from giving birth? I'm in hospital. You're the ones at home. Then I realized, oh my God, if I don't send this money, my other child is going to sleep hungry, because the nanny needs to cook for my other child. So it got to a point where I realized it's not about finances. It's, I don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like the position of, I don't care about you, and I don't care about the children and all these things. Yeah.
Why did he convince you to have the child? Because my questioning is, I do not know the individual, right? So I don't even know about the individual like that. So if he convinced you to have the child to be a deadbeat, could it be that at a point where you went past the first husband after blocking him so much that he sent you an email, he hasn't sent you the email version of that yet, the new guy? Do you think you're still at that point?
No. Because for me, I felt like probably he actually, because this is not his first child. This is actually his second child. So I felt, because he convinced me in the way of saying, my first child was not through love, but now this is through love. And I was like, oh, okay, So for me, I thought the love that he talked about in the beginning when I was pregnant, he's gonna show this child. But honestly, it was a lot of 8 months of convincing myself that, you know what, probably he will change. Probably he will, but he never. You see, now I've given birth to this child, and every single day I wake up and I'm irritated by everything he does. And one day I just woke up and I couldn't.
You couldn't do it.
I couldn't do it.
So he doesn't take his daughter out for walks to the mall.
He doesn't take his child. He doesn't even hold the child at home unless you tell him, like, oh, here. He will come out from work and say hi and just goes.
And that's you being truthful and not being triggered by it.
No, not being triggered by it, because mostly I was not even in the house. I would be at work. When I come back, and my nanny would be like, oh my God, Papa just had the car walk in, and he rushed out from the room and came picks the child. So when you walk in, you find him holding the child. You get? And this is not things that my nanny told me then. She told me after I made the decision. You get? So for me,
hey man, nanny's trying to stay away from trouble.
Yeah, she's trying. She's just trying to secure her job. She didn't go for any problem. So for me, I feel like it's just something that kept on pushing me, and just, you know what, I'm and then I really also didn't like my firstborn daughter was she's such a sweet girl. But every time he would walk in a room, my child was so afraid. And I saw my child, and I remembered, for me, with my stepdad, I never had
that problem.
Yeah.
So because of sensationalization, I'm trying to stay away from that. And, it's on the other side. I always want to account to you.
Yeah.
Do you think... Actually, let me just try and gather this train of thought very well. I'm trying to gather, number one, that your dad, right, was the provider, your birth parent. Your first husband, provider, right? Second dad, great dad, but then he was not in the economical status as this one. It seems to be the same as that. There's something tantamount about this thing. History repeats itself, but in a very interesting form. All right, so now here's this guy that you have a second child with. And there's a period that you said you went through whole phase, and then you actually gave birth to the child. Do you think that the whole phase made a mistake on your partner at that point, and that was the consequences of a whole phase decision?
Yeah, because see, now this is the thing. I never gave myself time to heal from the 7 years of marriage. So for me, my whole phase was very clear. We're not talking about personal issues. We're not even talking, as a matter of fact. But now there's this one person who you're talking to that you feel like, so what you're doing is your trauma, like all my traumas of my first marriage, I'm just pouring to him and teaching him how to treat me. You get what I'm saying? So for me, I feel like as women, we need time to heal.
So do you need time for whole phase?
You can do the whole phase. And then once you're done, don't jump quickly. Because this is
just don't get pregnant in whole phase.
Not even pregnant. Just don't fall in love in the whole phase. And especially this is it for us, especially us in the limelight. You want to show social media how fast you've moved on. I have a new man.
Oh yeah, I know all about that.
So there's also that pressure that we're always quick. For me, I felt like, okay. Yeah, I need to show people, him is moved on. I need to show them also I'm moving on. I'm not because now everyone is telling me, she's been left to the child. I'm going to show people, no, I'm in love. So we are always in a hurry to show people. So you don't give yourself time to heal. You don't give yourself time to even understand your mistakes, because it takes two, So you don't even sit down and try and think, okay, what did I do? What did I get to do wrong? Yeah. Yes. What do I need to fix so that in this new relationship I don't do the same?
How about no whole phase?
It depends. For me, I was married at 23, so
you're making a justification for why you should have a whole phase.
No,
and look, I must say that it is an individual choice. It's an individual choice.
It's good to let out. Yeah, it's good to let out, because for me, being married is, I had this whole idea, being raised by a pastor. I had this idea of being married, a man that we will go to bed together, same time, because I've seen it. So I'm not saying everyone should have a whole phase, but for me, I felt like I was in prison and now I'm free.
You're free.
I'm just
So
like,
I
yeah.
want you to understand that I'm not trying to find ways to shame you or anything. That's not what I'm trying to do. What I'm trying to see is that could it be that that period could be a disaster in the future. I had a talk with Ted. It says, think about the decisions you make now because it's what's going to, result for tomorrow. So that's what I was trying to pick out. Could it have been that? But it is what it is. It gave you a beautiful daughter. So these are the gifts that come from
It's true.
whole phases
It's true.
sometimes.
Whole
Right?
phase or whatever it is, whatever phase I was in, it gave me one of the most beautiful baby we have in Kenya right now. She is amazing. And so now through the breakup, I just sat down with myself. And now picking up from my previous relationship, I said, you know what, Jackie? You need to be truthful to yourself. I want to say as celebrities, we tend to come up with that truth that is not the truth.
Oh, yeah.
And then now
You're constructive.
you construct it and
Yeah.
now it becomes your truth and you're always standing by it and all that. But the only person you cannot lie to is yourself. So if I stand
you
there,
can lie to yourself.
you can lie
but
to
it will be
yourself.
revealed to yourself
Exactly,
later.
later. So for me, I felt like I do not want to stand out and come up with a lie. But at night, I'm crying myself to sleep. I want to feel it. I want to feel the pain. I want to feel it. So
You want to go through due process of just feeling the pain, letting it out.
everything. So I decided to
So
be
we compare it to
celibate.
pregnancy. No?
You
Feel the
feel
pain,
it,
let it out.
let it out. So I went through celibate. I stopped drinking. I just focused on my children, myself, and my work. Because what all this heart and all this heart was doing is for me, I ended up hating my small. Like I would enter my house and look at my child, and I'm like, I would have done better. I would have waited. I would have done better if I was to give my child. I would have learned from my first mistake and give my daughter a father that loves her, because I tried. God knows I tried. And I know he would never stand and say he didn't try. He's friends. So I used to drive to where he is. And the nigga thought I wanted him back. But I was like, I have done this before.
I heard the nigga thought I want him.
Yeah, so because for me is, I want you to have a relationship with your child. That's it, And
again, I want to stay away from sensationalization. I mean, sensationalization gives a lot of views. What I want to do is account to one individual, and that will be you. All right. But then I want to do something as well and ask you, are you dating now? What's his name?
I know.
Are we going through a whole phase again?
No.
Okay, just check it.
So I wouldn't say I'm.
Okay, so yes.
I wouldn't want to come out and say I'm dating. I just wanted to state to it. The promises I made to myself when I was in my healing process, and I decided now to, embrace, just work on me, work on my children. The right man will come.
The right man came.
And just decide to keep it for myself.
For
because
yourself,
what you see, what we do is we get the pressure from outside, social media and people and want to prove to them, oh my God, I'm beautiful and people love me. And so you want to show people, yeah, this is the mind. But no, this time around, I'm like, I want even people to know I am a single. I want them to.
You want to know, but it's that creating the truth again, your truth. It's where being a celebrity. So I mean, I've been managing some of the most colossal celebrities on planet Earth in different continents and around the world, and I help construct these stories. Now, that's what I used to do, and I understand that life that you get trapped in because now this image is falling apart. Now you have to recreate. So that knocks you mentally. Mentally and emotionally, it does knock you. So I understand where you're from. And at this stage, let's just say, instead of saying I'm single and happy, let's just say ain't none of your business.
Thank you. None of your business.
She owes me a check.
Yeah,
right?
I do.
She owes me a check.
Yes, I feel like now this is my personal journey. And I want to keep it that way because already my other life is out there and it has been out there for a minute. And so now I just want to have this one thing that I want to be so passionate and just for me,
Yeah. Wouldn't say rebuilding, but just recollecting it.
Yes. Yeah.
All right, let's move on. You're an entrepreneur and you've have a couple of businesses, which is in beauty as well. And then you decided last year or the year before to start your own TV show called Toxic. And I personally had not watched it myself, so I can't really talk about, the show context itself. But then the little words is going around is some people is like, we didn't get paid. Now, as an entrepreneur myself, a person that, takes their own money, it's so hard to get into such a business venture. So I got a couple of TV shows around to the continent, as a matter of fact, so I understand the expenses that go through it. Now, breakdown between you and I, and not necessarily for the sake of the audience. When you got into this and decided to film the show and people didn't get paid, what were the challenges? Why did it get to that place? Or are these people lying about their payments?
First of all, everyone got paid. Yeah, let's start with that. What happened is I had this dream of having this show, and I called out people. Actually, I just asked someone, do you want to, I didn't even ask. People came to me and like, oh my God, yeah, I want to be part of it. I'm like, are you sure? Everything is coming from my pocket. And so I do not have much, but this is what I'm offering. And, the thing is,
so it wasn't premium rate, but you was like, you know what, rate. I'm going for my investment here.
Yes. So, but do you mind? And you just needed, and someone is like, no, I'm just here to support you. So it was a small token to just appreciate people, because it was everything from my pockets. And it was the first thing I did before we even started shooting. It's like, remember, if you're coming on board, you just, it's a support. And I just have just something small to just say thank you. Are you okay with something small? Yeah, I'm okay. Da, da.
Then why did they come up with, I didn't get paid? Is it one of those shaming tactics? Or
I would say is one of those shaming tactics of I didn't get paid, because we have receipts we sent through what we call M-Pesa. So we have the receipts, and it was a small token, and we were supporting each other. And so it gets to a point where, again, I say this industry, people will fill your DMs by saying, please, Jackie, give me an opportunity. Yes, I'm ready to do this. Even if someone even will come.
An opportunity, and for some reason they're not happy along the way.
Exactly. So people will come to you and say, even if it's for free, I will do it.
And then they change their mind later.
And then they change their mind when whatever that you were doing becomes bigger than they thought it would be. And now it's a time for them to, again, they're going against Jackie Matubia. They want to be known.
They're going against a giant.
Yeah, they want the followers. They want the attention. But now this is the thing. You cannot attack a giant who has been in this industry for years. It will be a headline, yes. Mm-hmm. But for a few hours.
Yeah. Just have your couple of followers from attacking me.
Yes.
But eventually
have your 5 seconds of fame.
Yeah.
But still, at the end of the day, I'll still be above there. So
gotcha.
For me, I always tell people there's a lot of room for all of us to grow. Instead of attacking me, find out how we can all grow together. And even you get to the top, but now you're always attacking. But I also, again, these days I give a lot of grace to people. Also, we are also trying to see where someone is coming from, frustrations of family, frustrations of personal life, frustrations of career,
situation,
all these things. So I will extend the grace, and that's why such things I don't give attention to, because it's feeding something that is not meant to be fed.
Okay. Let's talk about, in part of the closing, about your new TV show.
Oh, yeah.
Showmax NBO.
Showmax NBO. So I'm in a new Showmax series called Mommy's Club. This has always been I've always manifested Mommy's Club. I remember when Mommy's Club South Africa came out, and I was like, oh my God, I really felt like a show like this, I would resonate with in this show. So I've been manifesting since 2023. And so when I got that call for auditioning, I was like, yeah.
It's time.
It's a very interesting show of 5 ladies of different careers, different backgrounds. We also have a South African in the show. And so we are not friends. No one was like, they're
in reality, you guys are not friends.
In reality, we're not friends.
Yeah.
But now we come together and just getting to know each other through the show and raising the kids and, all this, and being able to actually show the world that, imagine, even us women in the limelight, mothers, we still go through the same thing, and balancing is never an easy job for us. Yeah, because you see, social media, we always give you guys the pretty parts.
Yeah, I did it. Look, man, like I said, as somebody who's also got a decent amount of followers, I know how it works. You know, I've been in the game. I've been in the game for a long time.
Yeah.
But in closing, girl, this is what I'll tell you.
Mm-hmm.
I think you made the conversation a little bit difficult for me in the beginning because I was kind of impressed. Not even kind of, was extremely impressed with how you took accountability of that situation in the first marriage and the divorce. Second one, obviously, it seems that his healing phase, healing time is still a wound.
I would just try to say, even the second marriage, I would say we both tried to up, but for me already, I told you everything was pissing me off. So even that, you can never live with someone who is pissing. Even for him, there's no way he could have lived with someone who keeps, getting pissed off about everything.
Yeah,
you do. So
hey, stop being a deadbeat though.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. But anyway, we'll
have that conversation, me and you.
Yeah, because he left when my child was 8 months. She's 3 years now, and we are absolutely happy and okay. Because I'm always asked this thing, are you ready the day he will come? For me, I say I'll cross that road when I get there, because I was there when I looked for him and he shut me out and I took my L and
you went, this is something I would say, because I was trying to conclude, is that people or men don't have the same level of strength. You described the first guy as a guy that just left school, went, to South Africa, did some piloting. He's already in work mode. He's just work mode. So he understands that if there's a goal to meet, he will try. That kind of orientation of man is not common. Now, whereas someone here, and not to describe as a guy as weaker, because I'm not trying to shame people, he doesn't have that level of character. So he is not going to get to a point where he sends you an email, because he hasn't built this kind of character. So either way, you've made it a little bit hard for him to access his child. So because of his character being slightly weaker, for a better word, right? I'm not out here calling you weak. For a better word, he's unlikely to come except when the child is much older. So I think look into that, and consider it. But look, it takes time. I mean, 3 years might sound like a long time, but it might not actually be, But consider that while we close this topic.
Yes, please.
Yeah. I appreciate you coming,
Thank
girl.
You so
I really
much.
do.
Thank you so much.
And I want you to keep going. Crazy girl, not weird girl, crazy girl, to a girl that formalized everything, to being the superstar that you are. I think Nairobi, East Africa, Kenya, and more can appreciate that. And let's see that you dominate Africa with 2-point-something million followers and so much more.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, that's best of luck from this point out.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. Thank you. This was very interesting. Me, I can talk and talk and talk.
Yeah, I got to find out.
Yeah, but thank you so much for having me.
It's only a pleasure.
Yeah.
And as you know, like, comment, subscribe. If you felt like there were questions I didn't ask and you'd like me to ask the next time I come to Nairobi, please let me know, because trust me, I come here a lot. And like to have these conversations, whether candid, whether serious, whether in depth. So until next time, peace out.